Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and Joy Behar regrets asking Arnold Schwarzenegger this once she hears his response. Let's dive in.
If you are an immigrant, you're an immigrant in this country.
Yeah.
Did you have a visceral reaction to what they're doing, what ICE is doing when you see the videos of it?
Well, I tell you, you said that the immigrant, I'm so proud and happy that I was embraced by the American people like that. I mean, imagine I came over here with the age of 21, with absolutely nothing. And then to create a career like that. I mean, in no other country in the world could you do that. Yeah. Every single thing, if it's my bodybuilding career, if it's my acting career, becoming governor, the beautiful family that I've created, all of this is because of America.
That's true.
And so this is why I'm so happy to see firsthand that this is the greatest country in the world, and this is the land of opportunity. And I think because I'm such a proud American and a proud immigrant that came to America, I was asked to do, on July 4th, a big speech, the keynote speech at Mount Vernon, where George Washington was laid to rest, and where he lived and all that, to celebrate the 250th anniversary of America, the existence of America. And I will be doing the speech there. They asked me because I'm an immigrant, and there will be 7,000 some people there, and there will be people that will be sworn in and will become citizens that day.
That's great.
So it's really a great celebration. And this is what this is all about, is to celebrate people becoming Americans and coming to America and all that. And so I just think the world of the great kind of a history that we have with immigrants in America. But the key thing also is at the same time that we got to do things legal. That is the important thing, you know. So you got to do things legal, and those people that are doing illegal things in America and that are foreigners, they are not smart. Because when you come to America, you're a guest, and you have to behave like a guest. Like when I go to someone's house and I'm a guest, then I will do everything I can to keep things clean and to make my bed and to do everything that is the right thing to do, rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something like that. So that doesn't really work in this country. So I think the important thing is, when you become an immigrant, to think about, okay, I go to America because I want to use America for the great opportunities that America has in education, in jobs, creating a family, all of those kind of things. Then you have to think about, okay, if I get all of those things from America, then I have to give something back. You have a responsibility as an immigrant to give back to America and to pay back to America and to go and do something for your community for no money whatsoever. Give something back to after-school programs, Special Olympics, or whatever it is. Make this country a better place.
Normally, when anyone from the right side of the political spectrum goes on that show, they get either booed down or they get shouted down by the other hosts. I guess in the case of Arnold Schwarzenegger, when you've worked in Hollywood for that long, when you actually have done movies alongside people like Whoopi Goldberg, maybe they're going to give you a little bit more opportunities, but I can't begin to describe how perfect of an answer that is. The idea that an immigrant is really a guest. You are to treat the immigrant like a guest, but the guest must also act like a guest. Eventually, something is going to be asked of that person, and if you want to remain in that country, you also need to work towards it. It's like bringing a housewarming gift. You'd think that would be basic common sense, but the people of The View were trying to quietly put their arm on Arnold Schwarzenegger and say, well, we don't mean it like that. And you would quite literally see them fuming while he's giving them a perfect answer. This is just textbook. Instead of the obvious, well, no, if you're here illegally, it shouldn't matter. All right, you need to be deported. You've been here illegally. You've broken laws. You need to go. Instead of answering like that, he then outlines what it actually means to be an immigrant, what the actual process looks like. And it's not an easy process. I wish it was easier. But again, that's what Congress is for. And when it comes to illegal immigration, the whole reason so many Democrats love it is not only because it's the only way they can show their own patriotism, saying that America is so great that we can handle the burden of so many people coming here illegally. It's not just that. It's the fact that these things don't really hurt their neighborhoods. It doesn't hurt their ivory towers. But ultimately, having these illegal immigrants here in the United States is not an inherently good thing. And Democrats don't want to admit it. And then they have this ridiculous talking point that, oh, well, they do the jobs that we Americans it's just so beneath us to do this. We need our illegal immigrants. Baloney. Here's a great story right here. From Omaha, Nebraska. Every seat in the waiting area of Glen Valley Foods was occupied with people filling out job applications early Thursday afternoon, 2 days after the meatpacking plant became the center of the largest worksite immigration raid in the state of Nebraska so far this year. You think of America's heartland and you don't naturally think of illegal immigration, but the reality is there's a ton of illegal migrants that come to places like Iowa and even Nebraska, and they'll work jobs there under the table in order for some let's just say corrupt businesses will hire them under the table so they can make a couple of extra quick bucks. It's not fair to the worker. It's not fair to us as the consumer. It's not fair to the laborer who deserves a much better wage for their work. And Americans will work. We have that in our blood. We have that in our bones. When the Pilgrims came over, and it wasn't the people of Jamestown. The people of Jamestown refused to work. It took John Smith coming in and putting his foot down saying, if you don't work, you don't eat. Sorry, you don't eat. You don't eat. But compare that to the Pilgrims that came to Plymouth Rock. They knew that they had to work in order to survive. And that's not great farmland out there, ladies and gentlemen. They had to use special farming techniques just to make the food grow properly out there. Work is in our blood as American citizens. When the immigrants came over in the 1800s, they immediately found jobs as soon as possible. The Irish, during the potato famine, they came here and worked as hard as they could because they knew that they weren't welcome here because, you know, the English. So if you know Irish history, you know what I'm talking about here. And so I consider that story bunk every single time I hear it, that immigrants do the jobs that we just don't want to do. Arnold Schwarzenegger came over here with nothing but a dream and then brilliantly articulates what it means to be an immigrant. And he has been blessed because he gave something worthwhile to the United States. And that is showing up in the Predator films and the Terminator, obviously. And while he's been persona non grata in conservative circles for a while, this is earning him back a whole lot of points here because we need guys like Arnold Schwarzenegger to come out and tell people on The View, hey, this is what we're actually looking for in our immigrants. This is what our system actually does. This is what a success story looks like. And you can tell that the talking heads here at The View are not happy that he's saying this. It's almost like watching CNN when you can see the reporter just blinking furiously, trying desperately, what's going on, Mr. Producer? I don't know how to handle this. You want me to move him off the subject? That's what happens time and time again on mainstream media outlets. The View doesn't operate like that. It's used to a whole bunch of hens clucking around, but in this case, they had to sit there and let Arnold say his piece, and it's so fully articulated that he gets 2 rounds of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what common sense is supposed to look like, and even Democrats will agree with it until the rest of the members of The View tell their audience otherwise. That's the reality of the situation. That's why we're reporting on this, and Americans work. We work hard, and I've known illegal immigrants that work hard. But something has to be done about that illegal status. And it's either deportation or some other means. And Congress needs to get its head out of the sand and deal with the problem now before it becomes a problem later. What we've seen with the ICE raids in LA, by the way, when ICE does their jobs and you riot against the federal authorities and more federal authorities show up, I think that's what an actual insurrection looks like. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Until then, y'all have a good one.